All right, everybody, welcome to my Nightblade setup for the new patch of ESO. I'm going to run through a few things real quick of this setup. First thing, it is a stamina Nightblade. Um, I have I'm a bow 2H stamina Nightblade. Um, the abilities that I run on this setup, I switched a few things up from my previous builds. And I'll go through that and I'll explain why I did that. So this patch here is a sustain patch. You still want to have burst and you still want to have a good amount of weapon damage and max stam, but you want to be able to sustain in these fights. They changed the champion point tree around. I'll go into that and show you my CP now um, for the Morrowind patch. So first thing we have is poison injection. Poison injection, once again, is going to be our um, execute on this build, and it's going to be pretty much our dot, the way that we apply pressure on people with sword, shields, and things of that nature. Next, we have Shadowy Disguise. Um, I run this cloak version because it's going to give me a crit heal when I'm in stealth, um, and it's going to give me that burst damage that I need for this patch as well. The other morph isn't bad, but I personally like this one. You can test the other one out. Let me know what you think. Next, we have Vigor, and all these stats are unbuffed, by the way. So we'll show them buffed and unbuffed. Next, we have Vigor. Vigor you get through PvPing. You can get it through Battlegrounds. You can get it through going in Imperial City and killing other players. Or you can just go in Cyrodiil. It's real easy to get. You're going to find this ability under the Assault Tree. Next, we have Shadow Image. The way Shadow Image works, for those who don't know, you drop it, it applies a minor maim. You can run up to 28 meters from it and teleport back. I'll demonstrate that later in the video. It's a really good way to kite your opponents around, run them out of resources, or if you do need to get out, get a nice heal off, it works pretty well. And then we have Shuffle, which is under the medium armor tree. Now this patch, I've seen a lot of Nightblades do this. They run the Nightblade version of Shuffle. The only problem with that is you don't get those snares off of you. You don't get that snare immunity, which to me makes Shuffle just so much more critical in the build. Um, and finally, we have Soul Tether, which is once again a really good heal. It's a really good stun if a group of people are on you. It's going to CC them. It's going to give you that opportunity to turn the fight around if need be. Um, so the reason that I have these abilities like this, and I'll show you in the passives, is the shadow tree. So when you cast a shadow ability, you're going to get major resolve, major ward for 6 seconds. It's going to increase your physical resistance and spell resistance by 5,000. That's really, really good. It's going to help make a Nightblade tankier. Nightblades themselves are already squishy, so this just makes you tanky in a fight. You also get a little bit more max health. Um, on the back bar, I'm running ambush, of course. The reason I run ambush over crit rush, and a lot of people ask me this, is ambush is going to give you that empowerment, which is going to increase your next attack by 20%. Crit rush is nice, but why limit yourself to doing less damage? A Nightblade's all about burst, putting your opponent down, getting in the fight, getting back out, moving on to the next opponent. Next, we have surprise attack. Surprise attack is always going to be your spammable DPS. Um, it's going to give major fracture, which reduces your enemy's physical resistance by 5,000 for 17 seconds. It's really, really strong. Helps you put up pressure against those tanky opponents and Sorks as well. Now, this patch here, they changed siphoning attacks. Um, you have leeching strikes now, which is a stam morph. It used to be Magicka. Well, both the abilities used to be Magicka. This one actually used to reduce your weapon damage and spell damage by 20%, but now it gives you stand back. It's weird how it works. So you proc it, you still get a little bit of stam and health back, but at the end of the ability, you're gonna get 4K stand back when the effect ends. Now, I like to time this with a heavy attack, or if I'm like kiting or something like that. If you don't like it, you can always run um, Relentless Focus there. It's going to give you 8% more damage. It's going to give you that minor berserk and minor endurance and gives you stam recovery. If you feel like you need to execute on a Nightblade, me personally, I don't run executes. If you feel like you do need one, execution is always good to have on the ability bar. Um, there's nothing wrong with running an executioner. I personally feel like a Nightblade does not need one. I haven't ran an executioner since the middle of the Homestead patch, and I do fine on my Nightblade. The next one ability that I have is Mass Hysteria. It's a good CC ability. It causes up to 3 opponents to run away from you. Causes minor maim. I like to mix this with my Shade to keep my opponent's damage down by 15% the whole time I'm fighting them. And I'll show you how I'm able to sustain all these magical abilities on my bar. Rally, which is going to be your weapon, major brutality is going to give you 20% more weapon damage. It's also going to be a nice dot heal and a burst heal. And then Incap, um, sometimes I'll switch this out for Dawnbreaker, but Incap to me is going to be better. It's going to give you that major defile, going to stun your opponent, and at the same time, you're going to do 20% more damage when you hit them with the Incap for 6 seconds. That is really, I wouldn't trade this. I wouldn't trade this ability for anything. Nightblade ability Incap is just so good. Hits strong, does a lot of other things as well. Major defile. So let's get into passives. Nightblade, you want every passive possible. They all work with the abilities very, very well, very strong. Crit damage, critical rating, magical recovery when you kill an opponent with assassination ability, hence Incap. Next, the Shadow Tree. I went through that earlier. And then Siphoning Tree. When you pop a pot, you get 20 ultimate. Max Magicka increased by 8% for just having a siphoning ability slotted. Increase your healing done. So we'll get into, like I said, the passives here. I have all the bow passives. Um, so the next thing I want to get into is what I'm wearing. On the Nightblade, this setup here, I have 5 Bone Pirate. This is what Bone Pirate does. So it's max stam, stam recovery, max stam. When you have a drink buff active, your max stam is increased by almost 2,000, and you get stam recovery by 147. Next, I have Shackle Breaker, 5 pieces. It's a crafted set. It's a 6 trait set. It's 129 weapon damage, 129 spell damage, stam recovery, magical recovery for the 4 piece. The 5th piece, you're getting 2,000 max magicka, 2,000 max stam. So my stats look like this on my Stam Nightblade. Let's fully buff up here. So about 3,200 weapon damage, 43% weapon crit, 2,000 stam recovery, 800 magical recovery, which is really high for a stamina Nightblade. About 14,000 max magicka, and this is running drinks as well. 40k max stam. In PvP, my health goes about to 22,000. And 2200 crit resist. So I have the sustain, I have the DPS. This is a non-proc set. There's nothing on my build that's going to give me extra damage at all. The only thing that I do run on my Nightblade to give me that extra oomph in a fight are drain health and poison pots. Now, the reason that I run these once again is I don't run proc sets. So this is going to give that Nightblade that extra oomph in a fight. It's going to drain their health and restore it back to you. It's going to put a dot on your opponent. It's going to drain their stam and magical pool. So once again, it's going to put that pressure on them that a Nightblade already has. It's just going to increase that. I personally wear 2 heavy, 5 medium because I already have enough max magicka and I already have enough magicka sustain. I don't need to run that light piece. I'd rather run 2 heavy, and my heavy pieces are my big pieces. So I wear heavy chest and I wear heavy legs. The reason I do that is if you look into the heavy tree here, you're going to get more physical resistance, you're going to get health recovery, and when you take damage, you're going to restore more magicka and stam. For each piece of heavy armor that you wear, this effect can happen every 4 seconds. So not only am I getting tanky, I'm also sustaining better. And also you get more max health. So as a Nightblade being squishy, I figured this is way better than having that one light on there for the Undaunted passive. I really don't feel like that's needed. I also am a vampire. The reason I chose vampire again, yes, vampire does, but this patch is all about sustain. I'm going to get that magic and stam recovery. The undeath passive, when my health drops below 50, I take 33% less damage. And then when I'm in crouch, and I'll show you guys here, I can still move around. I still have my mobility. I can still move around my opponents. Now, Fighters Guild, like I said, a Dawnbreaker is really, really good. If you want to, you can put Evil Hunter on there. Um, with the Fighters Guild, you're going to get weapon damage for every ability you have slotted. It's not bad. Um, I just, like I said, I really, Dawnbreaker depends on the situation. From open worlding, I'll go ahead and throw Dawnbreaker on, but I'll probably put on my bow bar. And for those of you who don't know what Undaunted is when you complete dungeons in the game, you get what's called the Undaunted Medal as a passive. So for each different armor trait you have on, you get 2% max health, max stat, max magicka. I also am a Red Guard on this build. Red Guard still is the best for sustain. Wood Elf would probably be the next best, and then Khajiit, but Red Guard would be the top number one. So, as I was saying here, I'll show you guys how I like to use my shade. I'm going to duel my friend here, and I'm going to end the duel. I'm just going to show you guys how shade works. So, what I do is, like, let's say my opponent's there. I'll drop the shade. I'll kite around him. If he comes this way and is putting pressure on me, I'll just port right back. Boom, reset up, go back in. You see, so it's just gives you that mobility factor in a fight. With shade, if need be, you can port back and go ahead and go into cloak. And as you can see here, it's a Stam Nightblade. I can cloak a lot more. So it's really a really good setup. I hope you guys enjoy. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to write me or comment on the video below. I'll do my best to get back to you guys. Now we're gonna go ahead and get to the champion points real quick, because not only is this a non-CP setup, it is a CP setup as well. I run this in Battlegrounds and Open World. So CP wise, we have 23 in the Warlord. It's just gonna help reduce the cost of break free. Next, we have 75 in the Mooncalf, 61 in Tenacity. This is going to help with that sustain when you're throwing that heavy attack in a fight. It's going to give you more stand back, just to help you sustain, things like that. Now, also the reason I did that is because, let's say I'm open world, I'm in Battlegrounds. While I'm sprinting, I'm going to get 10% more health and magicka recovery. So my magicka recovery is going up, so I can cloak more, I can fear my opponents off of me, things like that, of that nature. Next, I have 31 in the tumbling, so I can roll dodge more. Like I said, Nightblade's about that mobility, getting around your opponent. What I personally did here was I put 21 points in the Befoul. This is going to boost the health reduction of that end cap on your opponent. So it's really strong. When I want to put pressure on my opponent, I end cap them. They can't really heal. I can go in with a surprise attack, heavy attack combo, keep that pressure up. Next, I only have 19 in the Blessed. This patch here, they kind of nerfed healing, so I didn't want to go ahead and waste points and try to stack into my healing. I really rely on, like I said, the leeching strikes, my rally, and my vigors, being on mobile, making sure that I don't let my health drop too low to where I can recover from a fight. Next, I have 51 in the Master at Arms. What Master at Arms is the new tree they put in. It's going to help with your direct damage ability. So anything that's a single target ability, incapacitating strike, surprise attack, the heavy attacks, ambush, it's going to make all those hit harder. Then I have 20 in the shattering blows. It's just going to help against those Sorks, Magic and Night Blades, just any Magic class in general that likes the shield stack. You're still going to be able to put pressure on them with CP. Next, I put 75 in the Mighty. It's going to help with my poison inject, my disease damage, my physical damage. I put 22 in the piercing, just that physical penetration. With surprise attack, you already lower it. Why not get it a little extra boost? Precise strikes, my critical healing, my critical damage is all boosted by 10%. It's a really strong tree. You want to get these passives here. I'm not gonna go over all of them. You guys have the opportunity to do that. But it's just like if your opponent's off balance, you do 10% more damage. Increase your weapon crit by 12. Opportunist. If you interrupt an ability, your next physical damage ability within 7 seconds, that's 15% additional damage. So this tree is really, really strong for a Nightblade. You want to try and get 120 in there. I really think it's worth it. Next, I put 36 into resistant, 10 into medium armor focused, and 9 into ironclad, just to reduce the abilities of those direct damage. And then when I roll dodge, my physical and spell resistance is increased by 660 for 3 seconds. Like I said, just to give me that little extra tankiness on my Nightblade. Next, I have 64 in the Hardy, 64 in the Ellie Defender. I could probably take those 8 points out, 4 from each, and put them somewhere else, probably into the Ironclad. But you really want to get this Unchained passive here. It's really going to help with sustain when you break free. So that's why I did that. And then the final tree here is quick recovery, just help with the healing received, things like that. Um, so that's the CP tree. I apologize, guys, my friends are. But so this is my Stamina Nightblade this patch. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to write me or ask me. Now, the only other thing I'll say, guys, is if you don't have Maelstrom weapons, I know a lot of people be like, I can't beat Maelstrom, I don't have Maelstrom weapons. Make you a regular bow defending and put you whatever enchant you think you want to put. Disease. I have Oblivion damage on my bow. What Oblivion damage is unresistible, unblockable damage. It hits hard, so I put that. I didn't want to mess up my Maelstrom 2-8, so I put it on my Maelstrom bow. But you can craft just a regular bow. Make sure it's defending. Defending is really, really strong on your back bar when you're buffing. Take less damage. And then for the Maelstrom 2H, if you can't get a Maelstrom, just go ahead and get you a gold 2H and put a weapon damage enchant on it, and it'll actually hit harder. Now, with that weapon damage enchant, just a heads up, there is a cooldown. So there's a 5-second proc. You have to wait 5 seconds after that enchant goes off before it will reactivate. Once again, I know it's not perfect, but it's the next best thing to a Maelstrom weapon. Um, so that kind of goes over everything about the Morrowind patch on my Nightblade. I've done really, really well if you guys check the channel out. I'll try to get out a couple of highlight clips for you guys to show you how the build works and how I use it. I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you all for being here with me. And like I said, any comments, please let me know what you guys think. Don't hesitate to ask, and I'll do the best to get back to you guys. Thank you. All right. Now I'm back.